everyone, and welcome to the Pray Proactively podcast. I am your host and creator, Nancy Charisse. I can't wait to get started with this new season, so let's get to it now. Have you ever found yourself stuck where you don't know what to do next? You don't know where to turn, which way to go. You feel like you're all over the place and your thoughts are cloudy and your judgment is off. Everyone seems to irritate you no matter what they do, no matter what they say. It seems like you are starting to have disagreements with your significant other, with your family or friends. It seems like nobody understands what's going on. It seems like you're the only one who is going through this thing and you're going through it by yourself. It comes to a point where you have no one else to talk to but God. It comes to a point where no one understands your frustration, so you don't even want to try to call anybody or talk to anybody if they would listen, because they're not going to understand what you are going through. And I want to tell you that in this time and in this season, this is normally where all of the distractions come in. It can be a distraction from work, a distraction from the television, a distraction from anything or anybody who is pouring into you. So you need to make sure how to stay away from the distractions, because what I want to talk about today is what to do when the distractions become too distracting. Now, the definition of distraction is a thing that prevents someone from giving full attention to something else. And distractions cloud our judgment. And when our judgment is cloudy, we cannot hear from God, and we cannot hear what He is trying to tell us when He is answering our prayers. Now, as we're waiting for whatever we're asking for, whatever we gave to God to work out for us, we have to make sure that we are not distracted by anything. So one way to make sure that you keep the distractions away or at bay is to make sure that you meditate. You have to meditate to stay focused. I know some people say that, it's hard to meditate because they have so many things to do during the day. You have a family, you have a husband, you have kids, and you just can't do it. You just don't have the time. Well, this is a reason for you to meditate so that you can be able to juggle all of those things that you have to juggle every day. And you have to tell your family to give you time. You have to make sure that you take care of yourself. That's one thing that we don't do as people, and me speaking as a woman, as women, we don't take care of ourselves. We take care of everybody else. We take everybody else to the doctor, but push our appointments to the side. We make sure everybody else eats, and then we'll either have the leftovers or we'll just make sure that, we'll eat later. We always put ourselves last. Well, it's time to start putting ourselves first, because with the things that we're asking God for, we have to make sure that we're put in the position to know that we are deserving of what we are asking for Him. But in order for us to get these things, we also have to stay focused and stay alert and know and realize when He's giving us something or when He is sending somebody our way to bless us with that thing that we need. Now, as we meditate, it's very easy. Well, it's not easy at first. I can say, as a single parent, when my kids were little, I had to tell them once their homework was done, once dinner was done, once they were bathed and put to bed or almost put to bed, I would tell them to stay in their room and go to sleep. During that time, I would go in my room. I would get my AirPods, earbuds, whatever I needed, and I would listen to some soothing music. I would start for about maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Because, when you're a single parent and you're the only adult in the house, you always want to listen out for everything that's going on. So I was that parent who never kept my bedroom door closed. I know some parents come home from a long, hard day at work. Soon as they come home, they go in the room and close the bedroom door. Well, that wasn't me. I always kept it open when I was sleeping, and it would stay open all day because I needed to hear what was going on in the house. But there is a time when you have to tell your kids to sit back, relax, because you need some me time. And you have to let them understand and teach them that mommy or daddy needs some me time. You need to relax so that you will have more energy to pour into them, so that you will have more energy to be there with them, to help them with their homework, to cook them the dinners, to drive them wherever they need to go. So our kids need to understand me time as parents. So as you get them to understand that me time, like I said, get you a AirPods or earbuds and just sit in your room and just meditate. Before you meditate, you also have to let them know, do not bother you unless it is an emergency. And they will do that because I would tell my kids that. And they were very obedient. I think it's the way that I raised them also. But they were very obedient in not coming to bother me unless it was an emergency. So I would sit back, relax, and I would meditate. And I would just listen to any type of music that would make my soul feel good. And when I say that, I mean, sometime I would listen to classical music. Sometime I would listen to instrumental music. It was a lot of different types of music that I would listen to that would make me feel relaxed. And once you start to do that, it may not happen the very first time, but once you lay back and meditate and relax and just let everything go, you will feel so much better when you wake up. Meditation makes you sleep better. It gives you more clarity. It reduces stress. And it does so many things. It has so many health benefits. So I know when my kids, when they saw how much happier I was after meditating, then they would, say they would want me to go meditate. When I told them it was time for some me time, then they would sit back and relax because they knew that mama needed to decompress and I needed to meditate. And also during this meditation time, you have to make sure that you turn off your phone. You can go in your room and have every intention to lay back and relax. But instead of doing that, you will start to get on your phone, go on social media. Somebody might call you. This is also the time to tell your family that you need some me time. And when I say your family, I mean your siblings, your parents, whoever it is that live outside the house that calls you all the time, especially those ones that call you with all of their problems. You need to tell them, I can't talk right now. I'm having me time. Even if you don't want to get personal or you don't want them to know what you're doing, just tell them you're not available. And something else that we do, we always answer our phone as soon as it rings. I don't know if this is the new generation that does this only, but if you're not available, you know that you still have voicemail, right? And you know that you can let those calls go to voicemail. And when you become available, you can answer the voicemail and then call the person back. Because if you get all these calls in all day, every day, it is so much on you. You already have work, you have your family, you have the pressures of life, you have things going on in the news, things going on around the world, and then you have other people downloading their information in you, trying to get you to help them. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with helping, but I'm saying sometimes we have to say no. I can't answer that call right now. And what I've said for years, it's been my motto for years, is that no is a one-word sentence. You shouldn't put a comma behind no. No but, no and, no or. You shouldn't put any other thing behind the word no. Because once you do that, your no is going to turn into a yes. Because you're going to feel bad for saying no. And then once you practice these principles and once you start taking care of yourself, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to see more clarity in your thought processes. And you're going to want to do it more and more. And another thing that you should do also to try to alleviate the distraction, also with meditating, is also make sure you get a good night's sleep. And sometimes for some of us, that is so hard to do. It's hard to go to sleep because a lot of us watch the news just before we go to bed. I know with me, I would always have to watch the first 10 minutes of the news because I knew that's where all of the major stories were going to be. But now I realize when I do that, I'm either going to not sleep well or I'm going to have a dream about what I just saw on the news. And that's defeating the purpose because it's going to wake me up in the middle of the night. And I'm going to, be thinking about what's on the news or what I saw. And 9 times out of 10, it's not anything that's good or anything that's favorable on the news for the first 10 minutes, because that's where their top stories normally come in. So if we turn off the television, unplug our phones, stay off social media. Make sure the kids had a good a good dinner. They've been bathed. They got their homework done so they can get a good night's sleep. Then you will be able to get you a good night's sleep. Like I said, all of this is not going to happen overnight, but it's going to take practice. But all of these things will help you alleviate these distractions. Because once you have everything together at home, and once you continue to make sure that you have all of the things you need to take care of you, then things will start to work out better for you. And then you will be able to be open enough to receive the good that God is trying to tell you, because you don't want to miss the thing that God has for you because you were distracted by the distractions and you don't realize that it was Him giving you what it is that you prayed for, which could make you miss your moment. So we need to keep our minds and bodies healthy, because when God is ready to give us what we prayed for, we need to be ready. We have to meditate so that we can decompress and also get a good night's sleep and take care of us. We also need to let others know that it's time for us to take care of us. It's not that we don't love them. It's not that we're not going to be there for them. It's not that, we're not going to be in their corner, but sometimes we need time for us. We also need to have a clear mind so that we won't be discombobulated and not hear or see what God is trying to do for us while He's giving us what we asked for. So take care of yourself while you're taking care of your family, but also try to make sure that you keep yourself first so that you won't be distracted by all of the distractions. Until next time, this has been Nancy Charisse with the Pray Proactively podcast. Please subscribe, follow, like, and listen to us weekly on your favorite podcast platform.